Guys, my name is Leah Williams, and I am a junior at Howard, the CEO and founder of Vibe Enthusiasts Co., which is like a media production company that makes digital content for social media platforms. And I'm also a content creator. And so I try to just do that through showing unique stories. And here's a YouTube video that better explains what I do.
My name is Leah Williams, and I am a first-generation public relations student at Howard University. I am from Galveston Island, Texas, and I have a passion for storytelling. Coming from an underrepresented community, I have always been on a pursuit to share the unique stories of my hometown. As I began to travel, I realized that there were millions of places full of inspiring individuals with their own stories to tell, and I wanted to be the one to share them. My university education will give me the opportunity to gain the resources to pursue my dream of telling the untold stories of the world in a completely new way. As we progress into the future and begin to take a look at the metaverse, I see myself using that 3D/4D space to create an experience that allows me to bring the audience with me on my endeavors and give them the opportunity to experience my stories on an entirely new level. Using immersive aspects and providing first, second, and third person point of view perspectives, I will tell a story that will really portray itself as an experience. It'll be told as if the person is either right there with me or experiencing the story like it is their own. Pursuing this dream would give me the platform to be a beacon of hope for other young women and first generation individuals within my community. And it would give me the resources to give back in a plethora of ways by introducing positive programs, bringing and encouraging innovation, and most importantly, globalizing the history, traditions, and culture of my small town. As a first
All right. So that's a little bit about me and my dreams, my dream job, and like where I came from. So I'm first gen, and yeah, I'm just out here doing it in DC. So my question to you guys is, what is your dream job? You don't have to answer it out loud, but if you could just write it down, we're gonna come back to it later. But if anybody wants to share, the floor is open. Yes. You want to be an entrepreneur? What you want to sell? What you want to do? Yeah, as an entrepreneur.
I want to sell clothes.
Period. Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I don't really know like my dream job right now, but I kind of know like what I would want to like some actions and stuff that I want to do in my job.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
I'm really big on community service and kind of like helping the community. So I definitely would want to do a job that involves something with the community, kind of helping out, giving back to other people, and also like anything digital, creative, like definitely want a job in the creative field, but I feel like I wasn't born with that creative, I don't know, touch. So it's something that I gotta work on with. Like I would love a job that kind of entwines the both.
Wow. So you really know what you want. And I say we all have that creative touch. Like, I'm going to speak more about that later in the presentation. But thank you for sharing. We're going to come back to that. But now I'm going to tell you about my experience in the sneaker lab. So this was my team. We called ourselves the Legends because we had a sneaker around like the legacy of sneakerhead culture, and we called it the Legacy Collection. So this was our mood board that we made. In the top corner, I don't know if it's right or left, but that's me and my first pair of Jordans. So we just wanted to highlight the fact that sneakerhead culture is a part of Black culture and it's spread through legacy. So you like Jordans or Nikes or whatever because your dad had them or because your uncle had them or because your sister had them, you know? It's not because they just, I don't know, something about the culture makes you want them, makes you need them. So we spoke on 3 pillars of that, which was tradition, talent, and swag. And so through traditions, you love sneakers. Through talent, when you see NBA players or you see other like Nike influencers out there killing it, Serena Williams, Virgil, all these people, their talent is now attached to the sneaker. And that makes you want the sneaker. And then the swag. So our community, Black people, we took sneakers and we made it into a movement. We made it into something that was more than just for performance. We made it style. So through that, we made this storyboard and we just talked about a father and a daughter on their way to a New York Knicks game and how all three of those pillars are going to play a part in the commercial. So they on their way to the game or whatever, they talking about the tradition. This is her first ever game. And like, that's a big deal. Her and her dad got on matching shoes, matching jerseys. They dripped out, okay? And so through this tradition, the daughter gonna love sneakers. Then we got talent. So she at the game, she's seeing all of these crazy NBA stars dunking, shooting threes, all of this amazing stuff attached to this Nike sneaker. So now she's like, dang, not only am I bonding with my dad, but these cool people are wearing the same shoes as us. So now I have the talent to do what they can do. Then we got the swag aspect. As I told y'all, her and her dad was dripped out, and then everybody else in the stadium was also dripped out. So she's looking at all the different sneakers like, ooh, 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 fire. So yeah, that makes her think, dang, like I'm a part of the swag. Then at the end, she's thinking about all these things. Her dad's talking to her, and it's just bringing them together as a father and daughter. Now she has like all these different things that she learned attached to these sneakers. This was our shoe, okay? So we had the Legacy collection, which we had old school versus new school, and we put the shoes together. That would be the pair. On the, I want to say right, the one with the yellow, that's the new school sneaker. And we were like, you know what? Like new school, we're a little bit more vibrant. We're a little bit more cool. Sorry to the old heads, but we cool. And we want some flashiness. And then on the other side, we have the old school sneaker, which is classic. You can wear it with everything. And then we chose this specific shoe because it's like a classic Nike shoe. And we wanted them to kind of complement each other when you put them together. So that's why we kind of went with this color scheme. But all in all, this was our shoe. And I'm going to tell y'all, we did not win, okay? We put all that thought into it, but we didn't win. But let me tell you why. We did not follow these 3 rules. If you want to win the sneaker lab, you need to follow these 3 things. 1, be creative. As you can see in our shoe, we weren't as creative and as dynamic and as vibrant as our commercial was. You understand? And this is the sneaker lab. This ain't the commercial lab, okay? So whatever beautiful story you have for your commercial, try to transfer it into the shoe. Make sure the shoe is telling the story of the sneaker. So be creative with that. Be creative with colors, textures, textiles. Like we had one group, the winning group, they literally had a shoe that had coily laces, and those coily laces represented the character's curly hair. Like be real creative with it and have fun and tell a story. 2, be interactive. When we did our presentation, we were not interacting with the crowd. We weren't interacting with the judges. We didn't ask questions. Like we didn't tell a story. We just read off of our flashcards. So if you want to win the sneaker lab, when you're doing your presentation, be interactive, okay? Be like, yo, what do you remember about getting your first pair of shoes? Ask somebody that. Even if you only have time for one person, ask, get like, cool with the crowd. 3, go the extra mile. What they give you as like the rubric for the sneaker lab is the bare minimum, okay? That's just what you got to do to not be disqualified. But if you want to win, you got to go the extra mile. Our team, we didn't do that, okay? But the other winning teams, when they did their presentation, somebody had a playlist that they made and like gave to the judges. They asked the judges questions, asked the audience questions, did a little dance, just made it fun, Nobody wants to just hear somebody, yeah, all in their ear. No. Be creative, be interactive, go the extra mile, try to make it fun for not only you and your team, but for the judges. Speaking of teams, here we go. How to have the best team, okay? I know you didn't get to pick your teams, but like that's the point. You're gonna learn these 3 things. How to be adaptable. When you're working with a team, you got to make sure that you can adapt to many different personalities, ideas. Like you guys have to come together and like what the second one says, collaborate all of your special ideas and bring them together so that they complement each other. So yeah, Don't be too stuck in your ways of what you think the shoe should be, what you think the story should be. Be open to listening and creating and collaborating. And then 3, use team strengths. So each and every one of y'all has something that y'all are good at. Like that stuff comes natural to you. You don't even got to think twice about it. Use that to your best ability in the sneaker lab and in the game of life. But yeah, use your team strengths. My specific strengths are like I can write, I can talk, I can tell stories. So I was in charge of like writing the opening slide for our presentation. I was in charge of coming up with the story for the storyboard, coming up with the visuals, and then aligning the photos with them. And then I was also in charge of like a leadership role in the team to make sure that everybody was collaborating and being adaptable. So take your team strengths. Oh yeah, let me tell you, if you're not a talkative person, there's stuff for you. We had a guy in our team, he did not talk, but he was a great designer. He was great with technology. He designed our sneakers for us. We would draw it for him or tell him what we want. He would send us that stuff in like 1 hour, 2 hours. So anyways, use your team strengths, use your strength to your best ability, collaborate and adapt to one another. That's how you will make like the best team. So you're doing the sneaker lab or whatever, and you're like, man, like it's a waste of my time or whatever you're thinking. I'm telling you that these skills apply to the real world. And you're asking how? I'm gonna tell you how. So I'm gonna use myself as an example. I am an influencer and a content creator. So this is my Instagram page, The Vibe Enthusiast, and I call it a multimedia storytelling platform because I kind of just like tell the stories of everything. I travel around, I go to different events, and even in my city, like I go to local events, interview people, showcase talents, showcase nature. And like my main goal is cultural and nature sustainability. Okay, that's my main life goal. But through this platform, I'm able to like connect and collaborate with people. And these are some of the opportunities that I've had this year. Since I started taking this page seriously, I've been able to go to the NBA All-Star Game, got to do content coverage on that, the Essence Fest, the HBCU Grammy Tour. I know y'all see Corday right there. That's Corday. I got to go to the Smithsonian, do Washington, D.C. Emancipation Day, and I even got to be in a commercial with Chevrolet, which was like so cool. So this is how I took what I learned in the sneaker lab and applied it to my current job. Storyboards. So when I first started making content, I was just putting videos together and putting music on it and calling it a reel or TikTok, whatever. I was not telling a real story. So after the sneaker lab and after they taught me how to take my ideas and put them on paper, I started crafting my videos. I started doing storyboards. I started writing scripts. I started putting the pieces of a story together, right? From my brain onto paper, then going to my phone to creating the video. This allowed me to elevate my content creation skills and like use my platform to actually tell real stories, to interview people and to have captions that had some type of substance. Collaboration. Without collaboration, I wouldn't have been able to do any of those things you saw on the last slide. I collaborate with companies, artists, creatives, all different kinds of people. My job is about collaborating because not only do I create content for myself, I create content for other pages. So I'll create content for them and then I'll tag myself and then we're cross-pollinating followers. We're cross-collaborating. Like it just sparks my creativity and it gives you the opportunity to do many different things. So I use collaboration every day. Focusing on my strengths has given me the ability to build a platform and the credibility with my audience. Because I decided to use my platform to not try to copy other influencers. When I first started, I was trying to like be like everybody else with my content. When I started being authentic with myself, focusing on my strengths, focusing on like my ability to write, my ability to speak, focusing on those things and putting those into the video, my content started going off because it's like when you focus on your strengths, you're gonna win. You're gonna, through collaboration, you're gonna learn new skills, you're gonna learn new strengths. And then when you use the storyboards, you put all that stuff together, then boom, you got a success. Okay. I'm not done though. Adaptability. Because of what I do, I have to constantly adapt. You know, with the algorithm and with the always changing trends. And like when you have clients, they also always change their mind. And like clients are the priority whenever you're doing that kind of work when you're making content for other pages. So I'm always having to adapt to their ideas, their perspectives, and even with the algorithm, I have to try to make videos that will work in its favor, because I'm not making stuff for it to sit there and get 0, 10, 20 views. No, I want my stuff to be seen and heard because I'm trying to share a story. Creativity. Your unique perspective and style is your greatest asset. My creativity is what has gotten me all these opportunities. Like I said earlier, when I started honing into my unique vision, my unique perspective, my authentic self, my creativity started to flow. I started collaborating with people. I started seeing new things. I went to college. I got into a whole new environment. My creativity started to spark, and I was able to make stuff that I'd never made before. So use your creativity to your advantage. Be unique. Don't worry about trying to fit into the mainstream. I promise you, if you stay creative and you stay like consistent, your stuff will come up. Okay. Go the extra mile. I always put in a little bit of extra work in comparison to other content creators, or just like in comparison to my older self. Putting in a little extra work always pays off. I've gotten so many opportunities by over delivering and making efforts to maintain the relationships after my work is done. So example, with this sneaker lab, you're working with, I don't know who you're working with, but those people that you're working with, maintain those relationships. Stay in contact with your teammates. Stay in contact with like the instructor. Get their emails, follow up, and say, I want to stay connected. You doing that is like the first step to you possibly getting another opportunity, okay? So just always put in a little extra work, because we don't want C's, we want A's, okay? We want to execute, we want to be the best. So that's that. And like I said, I took my own advice and I went the extra mile and I made a shoe. So this is my shoe, the Vibester. I think it's cute. It goes with my company brand, which is like at the bottom right of the screen, that company logo. And I love blazers so much. The gum bottom just like contrasts against the shoe. It's perfect. This is my shoe. And I just wanted to give y'all some ideas of what you could create. If you created this shoe, I don't know if you would win, but it's cute though. Anyway, so I know you guys like decided not to go to college, but I'm gonna show y'all some videos of like my college experience and like how you just gonna see it. So I made both of these videos, and you can find these on my platforms. That's Howard.
Kept sack about chemistry. Now I'm chemistry reactive. Football, keep our reaches like all the house. Juggle it all for you, darling. Just that pretty white smile. About the money that we getting. Yeah, we spitting on these drugs that we be ripping that you, if you first think you know that you be tricking on me.
Okay, so that was one. Here's the other. It's shorter. And that was just one day on the yard. This one is like my whole April recap. So yeah. So yeah, that was April. And I just want to say one more thing before I open the floor for questions. I can understand why you wouldn't choose to go to school, but I know that for me, like me going to college really opened like my horizons and opened my mind up to what I was truly capable of. I'm from Texas, so I know what's in Texas, and I was just wasn't thriving there. So being in a new environment around new people, making new friends, and actually like having that space from like family and friends and old schools, like telling you who you are and being able to figure out who you are on your own is a beautiful thing. And I don't know, consider it for sure. Does anyone have any questions?
Can you go back to the slides that shows the number?
Could you speak up?
Oh, can you go back to the slides where you showed kind of like it was like numbered and it was like being productive. What inspired you?
What inspired me? I just wrote about this. Basically, being from Galveston, like there's a lot of cool stuff going on, but it's also like an underrepresented community. So I kind of just wanted to share that story with the world. Then I got to travel, and that showed me that there were like a lot of small communities with amazing people who had nobody to tell their stories. So I was like, how can I figure out how to share this with the world? And then boom, Instagram was right there. So yeah, that's what inspires me. But that's what inspired me in the beginning.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the most interesting place you have visited during your time on social media and like creating a business and marketing yourself and creating your own brand?
I would say I had the most fun in New Orleans, even though okay, I guess I have two. So the NBA All-Star game was crazy amazing. It was a 75th anniversary. So I got to see like all of the best NBA players. And I got to meet Jesse Jackson, who was like a civil rights leader. And it was my first big gig. So that's my favorite. But the most interesting was New Orleans. The culture there is unmatched. I got to interview like a Native American tribe. I got to interview a bookkeeper, which she worked at a bookstore, but she didn't own it. I got to interview them about like New Orleans spiritual culture, and I got to interview them about how that ties in with the food. So that was like my paid opportunities. And then on my own, like with my mom, we went to Jamaica and I got to interview so many people and they taught me a lot about life. So I guess I had three. Me with these threes. But yeah, anybody else? Well, if not, if you don't want to say it out loud, you can email me or follow me on Instagram and DM me. I'll definitely respond. I'm open to like helping you guys make a decision about school and like just being a friend or somebody you can connect with. That's my presentation. I'm Leah, aka the Vibe Enthusiast, and I'm out of here.
Thank you, Leah.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Have a fun time. Have a good